Hey guys, welcome to the Bourbon Basement. I'm Steve. And as you can see, we're missing someone tonight. So we're missing Rozzy. He had to work late. Called me on last minute there. So I've been kind of scrambling to put an episode together. I don't want to take anything from Rye. I like to do our tastings and reviews together. Are we having issues? No sound? Really? Sorry guys. The technical difficulties at the Bourbon Basement continue. Uh, are you sure it's up? Because I'm getting sound over here on mine. Do you have your volume up? Okay. So, my bad. That was a producer issue, not mine. All right. So, anyway, Raz's not here. He had work late. This first episode alone, first live episode alone, scrambled to put together a show. I don't want to take away from Rye on our tasting and reviews, but I still wanted to do a tasting and review today. So, I had a very low empty bottle almost. We're going to do a bottle dump tonight on Evan Williams. Uh, Then, since this is the last show of this month, last Friday of the month, I think what I want to start doing on the last Friday of every month is kind of recap the bottles that the Bourbon Basement has purchased throughout the month. Give you an idea of what may be coming up on some episodes, what you may be seeing. So, we're going to talk about some of those bottles that we've gotten over the past month, over May. There's some good bottles here and there's some normal bottles, but I'm going to show you everything we got. Then I think I'll finish tonight with a new series that we're going to be doing just on the videos, not live. I like to make some more videos. Ryan can only be here on Fridays live. I like to do some more videos, so I'm going to do a little bit of series about bourbon cocktails. Uh, Now, I don't drink a lot of bourbon cocktails, but in that series, I'm going to try to give you a cocktail that I like and then a cocktail that's new to me, and we'll learn it and taste it together. If you all want to create it with me, or I can just tell you to try it or not try it. So some of them I won't know that I like at all. But that's kind of what this episode's going to be like tonight. There's not going to be a lot of history. I'll talk a little bit about this bottle that we're going to try today.
So
Do I?
what technical issues?
Oh, yeah, really. The Bourbon Basement is known for technical issues. So if thank you, Bourbon Neophyte. Uh, that's very helpful too. If you My producer is going to point out some comments. I'm not techie like Ryan, so I'm not there to look at them or read them right away, but she'll let me know. And if you all can comment, that may keep this show running smooth, or we may get off on a whole different tangent of how we want to go, but that's fine too, because I love to talk to you guys and everything else. But what I want to do right now is invite all my over 21 viewers to go ahead and pour them a drink. If you have the Evan Williams single barrel, go ahead and do that, or another Evan Williams or Heaven Hill product. If not, pour whatever your favorite is and just sit back and relax. Have a quick drink and then pour another one because you're probably going to need more than one to get through this episode with me tonight without Ryan here to help. Uh, but anyway, so we're going to go ahead and start quick, kind of right into it with our tasting and review. Of course, you only have a one-sided review, so if you kind of side with me on some of the tastings and not Ryan, then you're gonna probably be okay with this review. If you like Ryan's side, he and I have very different taste and very different thoughts on some bourbons. We like most all that we try though, so that's one thing. But we're gonna go ahead and get into this Evan Williams. So what we got here today? Do I got another one? All right.
No.
Just some smoke wagon straight bourbon tonight in the glass this afternoon. All right, bourbon neophyte. That's the smoke wagon. I've never tried. It's not a Kentucky bourbon here. And like you've heard me talk before, I just try to spend my money on the Kentucky bourbon so I can get through them all. But I bet that's a good one, and I've heard good things about it. Uh, so anyway, so tonight here is the Evan Williams. It's a single barrel vintage, and this one is 2015. And all that means is that the distillant was put into the barrel in 2015. So they don't give you an age statement on this one per se, but they tell you when it was barreled. And then on the back of the bottle here, they give you the date that it was barreled. This was barreled in October of 15, and then the date it was bottled. It was bottled in March of 24. Uh, so that there tells you it's older than 8 years and younger than 9. I got another comment. Da, da, da. What's a local whiskey? Oh, so Smoke Wagon's local there to
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 Vegas.
Las Vegas. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that because when I think smoke wagon, I do think West, but I was thinking maybe, Texas or California or something like that. So smoke wagon is from Vegas, and so you all can probably get that pretty cheap there in Vegas. Because here at home, I think on our shelves it's a little pretty pricey. I don't know. It's all over, however, it's on the East Coast. Yeah, it is definitely here. I've seen it on our shelves. And like I said, I think it's a little bit pricier than some of the other bourbons, but maybe that's shipping and everything else. So, all right. So the Evan Williams Single Barrel Vintage. I'm sorry.
It's about 40.
Oh yes. So this one here, oh, about $40. Well, that's what this one is. So this bottle here is about I think between 40 or $45. It's an Evan Williams single barrel, like I said. Uh, it's a Heaven Hill product. So if you like Heaven Hill products, they make Evan Williams, and the Heaven Hill makes a lot of good bourbons at that. But this one's a little over 8 years, not quite 9 years. I think this, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that's out there. Uh, I think Evan Williams Single Barrel Vintage. I think it's only released here in Kentucky. I think you can find it in other, maybe some auctions and stuff like that, or maybe some of those stores that have like pride themselves on everything. But this one here, I think, is only released in Kentucky, if what I read was correct. Now, this one is only an 86.6 proof bourbon, so it's a pretty lower bourbon from what I usually drink. But you can see this bottle's about gone, so it's a good bourbon. I can tell you that right now before you get to the rating part of it. Uh, the recipe on this is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12 malted barley. That bottle brand should be on everyone's bar. Yes, you're definitely right. If you're talking about this one right here, it is a good one.
Is he talking about the smoke
I
wagon?
believe he's talking about the Evan Williams. So, it is definitely a good one, a good pour, and I enjoy it, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So I just said this is 78 corn, 10 rye, and 12 malted barley. And you don't see the malted barley as the second ingredient too much. Usually you have a rye forward bourbon or a wheated bourbon, and when they have a wheated bourbon, they actually advertise the wheated part of it. They say wheated because it's the second ingredient in there. Uh, yeah, he's talking about the Evan Williams. I thought he was. But you can credit the Wellers here for the wheated bourbons because they were the first to do that wheat in there as the second ingredient and became popular. Gives it a little bit sweeter taste. That's one of my favorites. It's definitely been repurchased in my home. That's I can see why. I think I've tried some of it in your home or in your daddy's anyway. So but this is a good one. I've got the 2015. That was 2024 when it was bottled. I think he had the 2016, which was 2025 when it was bottled, I believe. So this is a good one. We're gonna go through it tonight. I think I've said everything that I'm gonna say about it. I gave you the price, the mash bill, the oddity of the malted barley being the second one, but you never see any bourbon say, "Oh, a malted barley forward," and it ain't a malted barley bourbon. It's definitely corn 78%. So let's go ahead and pour this. I'm gonna pour my producer one back there too. And we're gonna empty this bottle and go ahead and get rid of this thing. Then we'll talk about it a little bit. All right, and since there's a little extra, I get a bigger pour tonight. And like I said, we may need two or three to get through this thing. So, Evan Williams, here you go, produce. Thank you. I couldn't convince my producer to be on camera with me tonight, so it's just me by myself. You're going to see some downtime here while I do a little sniffing and a little drinking. Uh, but the nose on this is very sweet and very good. It's very mild. I guess that's that 86.6 proof coming through. But I do get, yeah, that caramel right up front. You get the vanilla and a little bit of honey in there. I'm getting some sweet oaky. Uh, you get oats. Our producer gets oats out of this. I don't get the oats or the cereal grains at all. Um, but I do smell a little bit of that sweet oak barrel and stuff like that in there. And I get a little bit of fruitiness. I think it's apple, but
Well, berries, some kind of berry.
everything says orange. Everything I read about this bourbon and everything else says orange. I'm not smelling the orange or the citrus in there. I'm getting more apple. All right, so we'll go into the part where Ryan normally does. So on our tasting, what we do, and this is we're not professionals at this by any mean, but what we like to do is we've gone to plenty of these tours that these bourbons and the way they ask you to drink that to pull out these flavors and stuff. Uh, we try to do that, especially the first time we taste the bourbon. This bottle's almost gone. I got a good essence of what this bottle is. Uh, and like I said, I was just trying to do something that Ryan wouldn't be disappointed that he missed. Uh, not that he doesn't like this, he does, but we've just had the whole bottle, so it really wasn't a big deal. Anyway, so back to the tasting. My producer's getting me back on track, and that's why I'm not doing the history of Evan Williams and this stuff because if I dived headfirst into the history, I might just ramble on and on and on and on, and it may be a 3 hour episode because there's no one here to stop me or make fun of me. So, uh, I want people to tune in next week, and so I didn't want to do that. So I didn't want to do a big history today. So just short, brief, and then we're going to talk about bottles and stuff. So the tasting: take your first sip. Put it in your mouth, start it on the front of your tongue, let it roll back, kind of move it around in your mouth. I'm not talking swishing and gurgling like mouthwash, but do move it. Let it touch all the faucet or every bit, all the area of your mouth. You want to get that burn out of there. Now, this one being 86.6, you may not have a lot of burn, and that's fine. But for some newcomers to bourbon, they will. And just do that. You're not trying to pull any flavors or taste out of it at that time. You're just getting your mouth acclimated to the next drink.
In a second.
Then on the second one, I'll talk about it in a minute. Let me get my first one done.
Number. First number.
All right. So you just move it around in your mouth for 5, 10 seconds, something like that. This one didn't have a lot of burn, doesn't take a lot of acclimation. I am going to do it the second time because they asked you to do that a second time at the distilleries and stuff when you taste those. If you go there and take a tour, they'll walk you through this whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Same thing, but about a little bit less time this time, probably. All right. So I feel acclimated, which means that when I put it in, I'm not just focusing on the burn that's happening. I'm actually going to start pulling out flavors. So on that third sip, you guys, I do. This one does have some good tears for low proof bourbon. I do like the color of it too. It's got a little bit of dark amber. It's not just yellow or orange. It's got a little bit of amber in there, which I like a darker bourbon, so that's good. But we'll taste that third one, and then I'll try to pull out some tasting elements for you. I don't know if you all will have the same taste. Everybody's palate's different, but we'll go in for that third one and see. So the thing that jumps out the most at me is the caramel flavoring. I get a lot of caramel. I get a little apple, so I get a little bit of caramel apple in there. I do taste that sweet oak barrel, and when I drink bourbon, that's kind of what I think of. My bourbon flavors that are traditional bourbon flavors to me, I like to taste the barrel. I want to know that this has been in a barrel, and I tend to go towards older bourbons because of that. Uh, so I like to taste the barrel. I get a little bit of sweet oak in this one. It's not heavy. It blends well with the other sweetness of the caramel apple that I taste in there. Uh, I'm not getting any orange elements or any citrusy elements in this, but a lot of it is. And I might get a little bit of that honey I smell too. So this one here, it's almost true to the nose that I had. I could probably have described my nose and then my taste as exactly the same thing.
I got brown sugar and oats.
You got brown sugar and oats, and you smelt oats.
Yeah.
So, didn't neither one of us smelt brown sugar though.
No.
So, but she's getting brown sugar and oats. I'm not. I'm getting more caramel, not a lot of brown sugar, but that is the flavors I like. I like caramel. I like brown sugar. I like that oakiness, and I like some smoke in there too. Producer says we have another one. That corn sweetness along with some caramel and brown sugar are some of my favorites to get in a whiskey. You and me both. You and me both, bourbon neophyte, because that's what I look for. I look for those good that oakiness in there, but I don't want just overwhelming oak. I want that sweetness with that oak.
Mhm.
I will get more honey notes on scotch than bourbon, and scotch is something I haven't got into. So, cheers, Gary.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, scotch is something I haven't got into. I'm interested in scotch because of the age statements that these scotches have. Uh, but trying to collect all this bourbon to do, I'm not able to do that. Back at you. He said back at you with the cheers. That's right. All right. So on the fourth sip, I've got a little bit more in here. I'm gonna take another sip of it, but on that fourth one, a lot of distilleries will have distilled water. It's just basically boiled water. It's so it don't add any flavorings or taste to what you're tasting there. But they'll have you do that. And what it does is sometimes it'll bring out a lot of the something different. It'll bring a some more uniqueness to it. Or sometimes it don't change it at all. Sometimes it changes it greatly, and it's like almost tasting two bourbons. As far as it goes on the smell, it kind of dilutes the smell. It smells less sweet to me now. This one, for me, not only proof wise, but just because I just added water, I probably wouldn't put this on the rocks. I like to drink my bourbon neat. If you like it on the rocks, then drink it on the rocks. If you like it with Coke, drink it with Coke. Nobody cares. It's your bourbon. But I try to drink them neat most of the time, but some of them I like better with the ice and the rocks on it. And I do like a cool heat. So sometimes I like to put my bottle in the freezer and have it cold when I know I'm going to drink it. But most of the time I come down here and just go through my bottles and like a kid in a candy store and then pick one. So anyway, let's try some flavors with that water. Okay, so the not that it's bad, it's very good. Still with the water, but I think the water diluted it too much. So I put 4 drops in that. I just had a little bit in there. It's kind of the normal dropper that I use, though. I think it took it down, diluted it too much. It kind of reminded me what I feel like. I know this is just 86.6 proof, but it kind of reminded me of what I feel like normally when uh, when I drink that Elijah Craig 18. It was just proofed down so much. I usually won't add water or any water to that whiskey due to the low proof. That's correct. Usually reduces some of the flavor. I agree 100%. 100%. It reduced the flavors down to, I mean, it had a good sweetness, but you really couldn't identify anything in there. It was just kind of a blend of sweetness. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a grade. I know Ryan isn't here to grade it. But if I had to give that bourbon a number, I'd put a 7.2 on that thing. So I'm gonna go with the 7.2. I liked it very much. Uh, my goal here on the Bourbon Basement is to try every Kentucky bourbon. So to own at least one bottle of every Kentucky bourbon. You all have heard me if you know me real well or have watched many of the shows, you'll know that if I like it a lot, I'll buy another bottle of it and I'll have it here. This one I will buy again. It's very affordable. It's good for newbies. It's good to share. Uh, yeah, it's just a very good bourbon. Uh, so far, it's my favorite Evan Williams product that I've tried. Uh, and there are some good Evan Williams products out there. So I do like it. I give it a 7.2. Definitely a 7. You and me, we must have a lot of the same taste because we're agreeing a lot today, more than me and Ryan do anyway. You'll have to come from Vegas to Paris, Kentucky. We'll have to get you on the show here one day. We'll let you pick out whatever bourbon you want to try, and we'll try that on the show that day, except for the 1795 back here. I don't know if y'all can see it on camera, but can't do that one because I don't know enough about it. So that's the end of this part of the show.
At the price, you should have another.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to have another. So that's the end of that part of the tasting review. And hey, man, that was quick without Ryan here to go back and forth and everything else, and without the history part of it. But here's what we're going to do now. So this is the last show of the month. I kind of gave you a rundown at the beginning. So on the last show of the month, what the Bourbon Basement is going to try to do, we aren't scripted in any way. We don't practice our shows in any way. When we're live, it's live. It's the first shot, first time, first take, first practice. Uh, so that may be why some people don't like it. I don't know. But anyway, uh, what we're going to try to do on the last show of the month is I'm going to try to give you, I got another call, I'll get to it in a second. I'm going to try to give you the bottles that we've purchased throughout the month. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to pour me another drink first. So get the EW bottle in bond at 100 proof. Evan Williams bottled in bond at 100 proof. I'm trying to think if I had that because I've had the Evan Williams barrel proof. Very good. And but I don't think I've tried the Evan Williams bottled in bond. Hold on, I'm lying. Evan Williams bottled in bond. If you go back to some of our videos, not the live shows, but if you go to our video tab, we do a tasting of this, but it is in a showdown with some other good bourbons that are below $20. So go back and watch that. We talk about them a little bit. It may be hard to follow because we're blind in all of our tastings on that. But anyway, so we do under $20 episodes. Uh, the battle that so I do have that. That is a good bourbon. We can always stream together on Friday or one Friday. I can hop onto my studio and join you two and talk whiskey. Would be a great time. You and Ryan need to get together to figure out how that happens, and then we can do it because I don't know how to do that kind of stuff, but hopefully he does, and we can figure out how to get like the camera and camera kind of thing going. We tried a camera and camera thing for our Derby episode, and of course it didn't work out too well. BW 100 is a phenomenal budget pour. Correct. It was under $15, I think, and it was one of my favorites. I think Ryan scored it a little bit lower, but I heard great things about the bottled and bond Evan Williams. All right.
What you gonna do?
Perfect. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is to pour and drink and talk. I've already done an episode on this, so Ryan's not missing out on anything. This is the Chestnut Farm single barrel. So I'm going to go from one single barrel to the next. This one's a little bit higher proof. I'm just going to sip on this while we talk about some of these other bottles that we got here in the Bourbon Basement this month. All right. So we'll just start. Some of these you may have seen because I do story times on some of our episodes. So this is one of those. I won't spend a long time on it. This is the Rabbit Hole uh, Velarde. That was just, we got that on our tour of Rabbit Hole. It was the most unique bottle there at the time. And so that's the one I brought home. Uh, this one here, our last episode was on Blade and Bow. We did a bottle dump on it. So I went and purchased another one. If you like it, you got to have another one in the Bourbon Basement. So there's that. This may go a little bit quicker than I thought. This one too, you've already seen. I was excited about this one. This was the Wild Turkey 12 year. Got this at the auction. It was going to Japan. Got rerouted to Paris, Kentucky when I won. Anyway, Wild Turkey 12 year. I didn't know this about myself until I started this podcast. I'm a Wild Turkey fan. I never thought of myself as a wild turkey guy, but everything that we've done wild turkey here on the Bourbon Basement, I've leaned towards some wild turkey products on the blinds and everything else. Not on purpose, not, but it just, I guess it fits my flavor profile. So the wild turkey 12 year that was purchased this month. And then, speaking of wild turkey, I want to show you all something else. We rumored this, and now it has happened. If you go to Louisville, Kentucky, and the areas around there, you're going to see Wild Turkey 101 8 year on the shelves. This is not until this year an American product. This has always went overseas. So finding this on the shelves, I believe when I did my episode on one bottle of wild turkey or something else, I had the Japanese version of it where I'd won it on auction. And then I said the rumor was that the 8 year, this was when we did the 70th anniversary edition, the Jimmy Russell 70th anniversary edition bourbon. We tried that 8 year because it's 8 year. I said this was coming back to America, and it's on the shelves in Louisville, Kentucky. We just saw it when we was at Rabbit Hole Distillery. We went to a little liquor store there, kind of right behind Rabbit Hole, and found the 8 year bottle. So, rumor no longer true. You heard it first here on the Bourbon Basement. That's a great bottle to have. WT 12 year. Uh, Never tried it. So I'm really excited about trying the 12 year and doing a show on it. Can't wait. The 8 year now, I'm almost wanting to have an episode to compare the one that goes to Japan and the one that come here. So my earlier bottle that I won from the auction to the bottle I got at the shelf in Louisville, Kentucky, to see if they taste alike or if they're really different. But I'm really excited about this one. Now, let's go to, we'll get the ones y'all know about out of the way. So this is the Michter's 10 year. We got that one this month. Got that one at Liquor Barn. Found it. Had to get it in a basket. But I found some people that really enjoy the wine and stuff that comes with those baskets. So it's really not a bad buy anymore. I'm excited about the WT12. Yeah, that's right. Uh, do you have one? Do you have a 12 year, or are you gonna come to Paris and try it with us? Is it worth the trip to you? Is it worth the trip? All right. Now those are some bourbons that you all seen me do some story times and stuff about. Here's some other ones that maybe you haven't. So this is the Mary Dowling. Got it at Liquor Barn. I think this one was about $69. They had some more expensive ones. They had some less expensive ones. You doesn't have it. Well, Paris, Kentucky. Book a flight, set up a Friday visit. We'll try that one on the air. Uh, Mary Dowling. I'm going to save this. This is an interesting story behind this bourbon. I don't know if it's going to be a long history, but it's an interesting story that I want to tell. I've been reading a little bit about this lady. Pretty incredible for back in the time when she did what she did. I'm going to save this for next year's Mother's Day episode, so I'm not going to ruin anything for you guys right now. The Mary Dowling, that's the weeded one. Uh, I like weeded stuff, so I purchased the weeded one. There's tequila barrel finished or something like that. And there's one, I don't know what the $129 bottle one. Do you remember? All right. Well,
There's 3 or 4 different
there
ones.
was 3 or 4 different ones there. I only bought the one. I hadn't even heard of Mary Dowling until that time, but it is a Kentucky straight bourbon. All these will be Kentucky straight bourbons. All right. So this is another interesting one. This is the Kentucky Senator. This is the 7.5 year. Now my sister sent me a picture of this bottle, and I said, I said I've never tried it, Day. I said you'll have, I don't know nothing about it and all that stuff. Well, interestingly enough, she knows the Kentucky senator that is behind this, or the former Kentucky senator that is behind this bottle, or behind this bourbon brand. And she ended up getting me a bottle. This one is open and tried. It's the 7.5 year. Uh, we tried it at her house, enjoyed it very much. Uh, so knowing that I enjoyed it and she gifted it to me, I went ahead and bought the 9 year Kentucky Senator. And Maybe a spoiler alert. The Bourbon Basement may go on location at a small bar here in Paris, Kentucky called the Whiskey House. And we may have a couple of guest stars, a Kentucky senator and the other co owner of this bourbon. And when we do, we'll be trying some Kentucky senator. We'll advertise that event a little bit more if it happens. I hope it happens if we can get them on board. But these are two bottles that this one was gifted, this one was purchased this month. All right. So that's Kentucky Senator, if you didn't know nothing about that one. This bottle here I just got yesterday. It's the Weller Antique 107. I've had Weller Antique 107. Out of the Wellers I've tried, which is only Special Reserve, um, 12 year, and 107, the 107 is my favorite Weller out of all those. This Antique 107, my friend from Ohio came down. He brought me this bottle. Uh, Thank you, Terry, very much. But anyway, that's how I got that one. I had just finished my other one previously. We will do a show on Weller, and it'll probably be when I complete the rainbow and we taste the rainbow to tell you which one's the best. So that is an episode that's going to happen, but it's going to be the Weller Rainbow episode. I still need the white, I need the CYPB, and I need the single barrel Weller. If you all know anything about trying to get those, they're very expensive and very hard to get. And I'm waiting for that right time. And once I get them, then I'll have that Weller Rainbow episode. Antique 107 is the best in my opinion. Bourbon Neophyte, have you tried the single barrel, the CYPB, and the full proof? Because if you have and it's still your favorite, that's good information. I've only tried the 12 year, this one, and the Special Reserve. It is definitely my favorite out of those. Beats the 12 year. I was surprised how well it beat the 12 year because I told you just now I liked a lot of age statement in those. Check in Ohio, much better price. Yes. That my friend from Ohio brought me this bourbon, if that tells you anything. He and I communicate a lot back and forth. He likes to come to Kentucky a lot and do some of these bourbon drops and stuff that's going on. But when he does, he did bring me a bottle that I like as well. And all right, so this one here is a little bit interesting. This is just an E.H. Taylor small batch, and I say just a because I can get these pretty regularly. And have you ever went and bought a bottle of bourbon that you didn't need just to buy it, just to have it, to drink at some point in time? But I already have three bottles of this. So you have the 12 year, the full proof left on your shelf. I have the full proof and I haven't opened it yet because I've only got one bottle of it. So I didn't want to really I did the same thing with the antique and I drank it before I could ever have an episode. So I knew I was going to have to get another antique and he brought it for me, luckily. Uh, but the foolproof is still on the shelf, not opened yet. So this one here, uh, good. I've seen the antique over 400 bucks. All right, $400. That's big time because the Antique 107 here on the shelves at some of these, I call them secondary liquor stores because they're selling the bourbon for secondary prices. It's about $180. I've never bought one for $180. You can actually go to Unicorn Auctions if you want to do that and get them cheaper than $180. Uh, if you get it for $100 on Unicorn, it's going to cost you about 150 to get it delivered to your doors. Just to let you know, so you're still saving 30 bucks. Gary says, I'm in Ohio, truly the land of Weller. Now trying to get the foolproof LOL. Well, from what I understand from my buddy Terry, as long as you go to the Kroger drops, eventually you're going to get a foolproof or more or more or more or more. And I went to a Kroger drop in Ohio because my buddy Terry called me and said, "Hey man, they're having a drop tomorrow." I took off work, showed up at 4 o'clock in the morning, went there, and me and my wife actually, and she actually got the Weller foolproof, and I got the 12 year because she got the last Weller foolproof. She was 19th in line, by the way, so that shows you that they don't have many bottles, but if you can get there early, uh, E.H. Taylor's my favorite go-to bottle. Got my bottle for $40. Wow, 40 bucks. So even at the distillery, these go for $60. Um, Vice's my Ryan Farrell, my son, he has just commented on the show. He says you didn't change the title. Ryan, I don't know how to change the title. You dork, you're gonna have to do that later when you get home. So I'm not the tech guy. You are. You're lucky I got it started, Ryan. Anyway, it started. You'll have to come home and change the title. All right, so back to the E.H. Taylor, one of the Bourbon Basement's favorite bottles that we've tried. This is an excellent pour. This is just a small batch. I had three of them. I did not need this. No way, no shape, no form. But sometimes you build relationships, right? And that's what I did with this bottle. Went into our local liquor store. Uh, we are becoming friends, I think. I'm getting some good bottles from him. I'm purchasing a lot of my bourbon from him, keeping it local instead of going to Lexington and Louisville and getting these things. And he said, "Hey, man, I got some E.H. Taylor in the back." And I said, "Oh, is it the single barrel or the batch proof?" He said, "No, it's a small batch." I said, "Yeah, give me a bottle of that. I'll take a bottle." Uh, and he was like $5 higher than the distillery. So it wasn't a big deal. Supported him. I'm buying from him, making that relationship. Hopefully, I'll get some more good stuff. Let's take a bourbon drink. Cheers. I got those bottles of E.H. Taylor when they were retailing at that price for 2019 and 2020. Wow. So it's $40 back in the COVID area. I get or COVID, yeah, era, the early COVID area. All right, so we'll just get to some regular bottles now that the Bourbon Basement buys. Uh, so I went to Costco. This is the Kirkland small batch. I've heard many good things about Kirkland. Okay. This is distilled by 1792, Barton 1792. This is their small batch bourbon. I won't do a spoiler alert on it, uh, but yeah, I guess I will. I wasn't a big fan. It was supposed to be very good. It was supposed to be, man, that's some incredible bourbon, and I was looking for incredible bourbon, and I didn't get it. I didn't get incredible bourbon. I can't partake in alcohol on the clock. He's still working, so yeah, you come home. You come home, right? Or you come back here, and we'll get you some bourbon. But anyway, the Kirkland small batch, I had to buy it because I didn't know anything about it. I heard good things about it. I bought it. Wasn't my favorite. We will do a show on it, but I actually bought $20. It was only $20 for a big bottle, not the 750. This is the 1 liter or 1.5 or whatever they call them. 1 liter. I'm sorry, 1 liter. And I bought two bottles because I just knew it was going to be good. I'd heard so much good things about it. Well, so other people might. And it may be. It wasn't my favorite, but I bought it. Bought two bottles. All right. Another Costco buy. This is just a 10-year Elijah Craig barrel, or I'm sorry, not barrel proof, private barrel. So I had the 9-year barrel proof. I had the 9-year barrel proof. 9-year barrel proof was very good. This is the 10-year private barrel. I hope it's as good. Uh, some of the Elijah Craig products I love a lot. Some of them I'm disappointed with, like the 18-year Elijah Craig. A single barrel was very disappointing for that price. Let's see. The Kirkland bottled in bond is much better than the small batch. So the bottled in bond may be what they were talking about. Uh, that is true. The Bourbon Neophyte says so. Yeah, this is the small batch. I didn't know they had a bottled in bond because this was the only one. I've been a Costco member for like 3 years now, and I go into the bourbon area every time, and more than that. Our producer says 6 years, but I go into the bourbon area every time I go. Now, I haven't been in bourbon for 6 years. I've just recently started collecting and tasting bourbon like over the last 2 years. So maybe I've missed the bourbon, the bottled in bond. But this is the first time I've seen it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get that. So I need to look for the bottled in bond. Thank you all for that advice. Uh, the EC products are hit or miss. The 18 was extremely disappointing to me. Me too, especially at the lower proof. I agree. The lower proof was for a single barrel. I thought they ruined it. It's because they proofed it down so to 90. That's almost as bad as Buffalo Trace not putting a cork in the Weller 12. Put a cork in it, Buffalo Trace. That too is my co-host Ryan. He must have some downtime on his work shift to be watching the episode here. Uh, but anyway, he says that it's where they proofed it down so much, and I agree. And then he says it's Buffalo Trace needs to put a cork in it. If you all watch our shows at all, you know every time we talk about the Weller 12, we need a cork in it. It's 12-year-old bourbon. It's an expensive bourbon. Put a daggone cork in that thing. Come on. All right, this is one that you all probably seen. I actually did a show on this, so if you haven't seen the show, go watch the Bradshaw episode. But this is Terry Bradshaw's bourbon. Met Terry Bradshaw. It was great. Got his signature on here. The Terry Bradshaw bourbon that was purchased this month here in the Bourbon Basement. So watch that episode if you haven't. Now let's talk about two that I've never heard of, and I've got these here at the little liquor store that where I got this. Just supporting. This is a 10-year Corner Creek bourbon. It's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, aged 10 years, and American oak cask. I've never heard of it. Uh, the owner of that store there, he had that on his discount shelf. So for discounted 20% already, and then he kind of does little special favors for me as far as the discount goes. This one, 10 years old, I couldn't pass up the price on it. I don't know what the normal bottle is of this, but I got it for like $40. So $40 for this and a 10-year-old bourbon, I couldn't pass that up. So that's the Connor Creek. Horner. Horner Creek. Don't know nothing about it. All right. Cool Running. Uh recommended your channel. Thank you, Cool Running. Cheers. Cheers, and I'm gonna cheers to that. Keep recommending that thing. Give it some likes and some loves and share it with friends and all that kind of stuff. We need some more support here at the Bourbon Basement. Uh the Bradshaw bottle is that batch one. I had first batch. I don't think this is batch one, and honestly, I didn't even know that he made bourbon until uh I have a contact there at Liquor Barn, and she called me and said this was happening. So I came down through here. I don't see a batch number on this, so I'm guessing no, this is batch 13. Batch 13. So that Bradshaw, it's been around a while. Uh the first batch is probably going to be. Did he autograph that first batch? There's some greeting going on. I'm glad you all know each other. That's kind of cool that you are talking back and forth. Welcome, the more the merrier. That's my co-host chiming in. What are you doing? I thought you were working. Uh, Ireland today. Woo, the Bourbon Neophyte. So Cool Runnings in Ireland.
Wow.
Ireland.
Nice. Bring it.
That is kind of cool. Here's another one I haven't heard of. This is the Cinder and Smoke Kentucky Straight Bourbon. It's the Founder Select. This too was at my little guy's store down here. It's a Big Blue Bourbon. Is that what it's called? And or Big Bluegrass Liquors. Small little store, man, but he has so much bourbon and so much other products. If you're in the Paris area, go stop and support him. It's not a paid advertisement or nothing, guys. Just do it. That guy, he's an incredible guy. A real good person, and he knows a lot about his bourbon and stuff. But anyway, this one here, this is Cinder and Smoke. This was the last bottle on his discount shelf. I went ahead and got it for 20% off, and then he gave me another 5 or 10%. I don't know what he does, but uh, I ended up getting this bottle for like 30 or $40. He said I would not be disappointed. So I'm kind of interested in looking up the history of this, find out who it is, what it is, and where it came from. I do like to research that. So the Corner Creek and this Cinder and Smoke, uh, I'm kind of interested in diving into that and see what's going on with it. So now we'll get to auction win. This is one I was very excited about. If y'all have watched some of the episodes, you've been hearing me talk about this one, but I've never won it. Well, I finally won it. This is my Blanton's Red. This is was going to go to Japan. Came here to Paris, Kentucky as well. The only thing, so that I'm kind of everybody knows what Blanton's is and where Blanton's is and all that kind of stuff. Buffalo Trace. Uh, I was expecting more from the bottle. Uh, but the only difference in this, I mean, this is 93 proof. Uh, and the only difference in the bottle is this is like the gold wax instead of black wax. And there's a little bit of Japanese writing on the back of it here. But other than that, you can't hardly tell it apart from a regular Blanton's. And then the little case that comes with it, it doesn't even have Blanton's on it or nothing. You know, my Blanton's gold. It's a black velvet case with Blanton's on it. It's real pretty. The horses and everything look the same. So, uh, I knew I'm getting a Blanton's red. No big deal. But I thought the bottle might be different, and it's not. So that kind of disappointed me a little bit. But I got a cool box to put on my shelf, so that's kind of cool. Uh, I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna put this here. Let's see what we got here. So Cool Runnings, who's in Ireland, says things have cooled down, not quite a bit. We had 2 weeks of blue skies and sunshine, which I made the most of. My bald head didn't like it. So we're finding out some things about Cool Runnings here. We know he has a hair issue. But other than that, we got laughy faces and some bourbon drinks. I'm gonna have another. Don't know if I should. I'm sorry. All right, so now we have the last two purchases from the Bourbon Basement this month. And the reason I purchased this, so this is the Jim Beam Devil's Cut and just regular old straight Jim Beam. Uh, and the reason I purchased them is because I told you all earlier, I'm going to do some episodes, not live, but just videos of some bourbon cocktails. I looked up some recipes online. These two go in a lot of bourbon cocktails, so that's why I purchased them this time. I've had, of course, you've had Jim Beam. I've had the Devil's Cut before, uh, so I didn't purchase them for any experiments or nothing like that, unless drinking is part of that experiment. So now, looking at all these purchases in the Bourbon Basement this month, I'm kind of feeling like I just set up a what do you call that? An intervention. Think I need an intervention. I don't know if this is normal. Is this normal to purchase this many bottles of bourbon in a month? I don't think so. Uh, so this may be my own intervention, just a realization of, hey, I need to slow down buying some bourbon. Um, I don't know, but it's just hard if I find a good price on something like this one and this one and this one. Uh, Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me not to buy them, and that may be a problem. I don't know if I need to go to a psychologist or just some friends to intervene, or maybe just my wife telling me no every now and then, but or my producer saying no, we don't need any more for the show. But it seems like a lot. So we'll see what happens at the last episode in June. Now, let's go to the third part of our show. I don't know how long this has been. Oh gosh. This has been 48 minutes. Should I go to the next part or should we just kind of call it? I don't know. How do you all feel? Do you all want me to continue what the next part of the show was going to be a couple of bourbon cocktails? Do you all want to see them or do you want them to go to a video and we'll just stop the episode here? You are fine. I have purchased a lot of bottles like that several times. Well, me and Neophyte are on the same page, but I think we may be related in some way. I got to see. I got to find out some more about you. I stopped counting when I got over 100 bottles on the shelf. You and me both. I just did inventory like maybe 2 months ago, and I had about 250 Kentucky bourbons on my shelf. I don't collect more than that. I do have a couple of whiskeys on there and some that I was confused about. You want to wrap it up, producer? All right. So I think our producer says that this show's probably been long enough. So if you want to see cocktails and stuff like that, like I said, Ryan can only make it on Fridays, most every Friday. This is the first Friday he's missed. So my co-host, you all know, he loves this as much as I do. And so what I wanted to do through the week some was just I didn't want to get into a lot of bourbon because I don't want to take that away from him. So I thought something I might be able to do that won't involve him is make some bourbon cocktails. So just look for those videos to come out. They're not going to be live shows at all. They're just going to be videos. Uh, but other than that, uh, how does he sign us out? With all that being said, he says. So let's see. So with all this being said, we've had a little bit of we've had some tasting and some stuff. We've had you all have seen how addicted I am to buying bourbon and drinking bourbon and tasting bourbon and all that stuff. Uh, we're gonna kind of sign out.
Thank you for your support.
It's never long enough. I have streamed for 4+ hours many times. Bourbon neophyte. I could talk about bourbon all night long, and I think I'm driving people at work crazy with it. I think I'm driving my bartenders crazy with it. My liquor store guys crazy with it. I don't want to drive you all crazy with it. I want you all to keep tuning in. So we'll leave you wanting more, I guess, if that's how we can say that. We'll leave you wanting more, bourbon neophyte. Uh, so let's see. Let me try to think how Ryan.
Don't do it like him, cheater.
Well, I don't even know how to do it. So Ryan is good at signing out. I know he says like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have anything,
Thanks for your support.
thanks for your support. Thanks for tuning in to us today. Really, I hope you all enjoyed the episode. I know it was kind of makeshift and last minute. Pass the word along. Let's get it out there. Like I said, we've got some good things coming up. That's why people watch our channel, Whiskey Talk. I'll be tuning into Whiskey Talk too and giving you some love and support there, Bourbon Neophyte. So, uh, anyway, we that's what we're here about, right? We're here to talk about some bourbon and love of bourbon. I'm now subscribed. Thank you, Cool Running. So I'll get your notifications for your next live and video uploads.
Tell him to pass it along to me.
We're live every Friday night at 6 p.m.
Eastern.
Most Eastern Standard Time, and that's most like 90% of the time. Sometimes we put a little thing up there and says it's 6:30. Life does get in the way. It is Friday night. I know you guys are busy. We're busy too, but this is important to me, and Ryan and I love this very much. Channel name is the Bourbon Neophyte, not Whiskey Talk. All right. Well, so that's easy to remember, Bourbon Neophyte. I'll get on there. I'll log in, subscribe. I'm going to get you with Ryan, and we're going to try to do some kind of crossover thing. So look for that in messages or however, DMs or whatever the kids call them nowadays. Uh, but anyway, I guess that's it for the Bourbon Basement tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you liked the episode. I like doing it. I wish Ryan was here, but I'm going to do some more videos like this, and this is kind of going to be an end of the month thing. I hope there's some better bottles next time, or maybe less bottles if the intervention works. But yes, my contact info is on the page. Thank you, sir. I'll tune in. Um, Everybody else out there watching, if you tune into the Bourbon Neophyte, let's support him as well. Maybe just give him a like and follow, get his notifications. Cheers. Great stream. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So, anyway, I'm signing off. I don't know all the stuff Ryan does, but I am going to tell you, I know one thing he says. Why drink alone when you can drink with us? So that's all for the Bourbon Basement. We'll see you all next Friday. And I don't know how to end this stream. So let's just try this one.